From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard has the evening off. Our top story, a Fairbanks man convicted of over 20 counts of sexual abuse of a minor will spend the rest of his life behind bars. 58-year-old Timothy Bedwell has been sentenced to serve over 70 years in prison. He was convicted of over 30 counts in the case, which were for abuse that prosecutors say took place over the course of years. Bedwell, who has twice tried to fire his lawyer, has been outspoken during the course of the trial with frequent courtroom outbursts. During an impassioned statement at his sentencing, Bedwell maintained his innocence.
I cannot, for words, to try to keep a civil tone about the absolute injustice of the way that this was done. I have been beaten. I've had my jaw broke 3 times, being called a child molester in one incident. I have been slammed against a door for no reason, of which they tried to use against me, of which there is no even evidence of.
The University of Alaska Board of Regents began its Fairbanks meeting today at University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. UA President Patrick Gamble addressed the board and said it's a pivotal point at the university because the federal government is demanding better results while the state is anticipating reduced funding. In the coming years, the board is looking to create fundamental changes in the UA system to improve opportunities. The unfolding strategy is titled Shaping Alaska's Future, and some goals include improving graduation rates, increasing diversity, and making UA campuses more competitive.
And so we're really getting into now the hows and whens and all that of where it's going to go. I think it is a pivotal point. These are tight times economically and changing times. And the university, I'm very proud of, is right ahead of things in being proactive.
The State Senate Resources Committee yesterday heard public testimony on bills pushing a natural gas pipeline project. It related to Senate Bill 138, which focuses on Governor Sean Parnell's proposed pipeline deal with the North Slope producers and TransCanada Corporation. The governor's bills were introduced January 24th, requesting lawmakers to approve certain statute changes allowing the deal to go forward. Fairbanks North Star Borough Mayor Luke Hopkins testified by phone, saying local governments need to be kept in the loop on what impacts the deals will have on them.
We are concerned, mayors are concerned for our residents. What we're asking in the letter to the governor, and I think you've seen a copy of it, is that an opportunity to be at the table, to actually be in the negotiations and be a part of the decision making, not just sitting on the side.
Sulfolane was the topic last night on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. The free public lecture hosted by the Office of Undergraduate Research and Scholarly Activity showcased the research that's being done on campus about sulfolane in the groundwater in the North Pole area. It's been a big issue recently as Flint Hills blamed their closure of the North Pole refinery on the chemical, which seeped into North Pole groundwater years ago. The research being done may help clean up the effects of the contamination.
Well, one of the major findings that we've made so far is that there are microbes present in the groundwater and in the soil that are capable of biodegrading sulfolane, and that's something that we didn't know before. So we know that the potential exists there, and so the question remains now, why are they not very active, and are there ways we can speed them up?
U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski presented her annual address to a joint session of the Alaska Legislature yesterday. Her fight with the Interior Department over its rejection of a road through the Eisenbach National Wildlife Refuge was one main topic. She vowed to get the road between King Cove and Cold Bay built so residents there will have a way to get sick or injured people medevaced. The Interior Department rejected the road in December, saying it would jeopardize waterfowl in the refuge. Murkowski said federal overreach in Alaska is at the highest level it's ever been.
I would argue that we have more federal restrictions on us now than ever before. Implementation of the roadless rule in the Tongass is just the latest chapter of decades of federal insult to Southeast's economy, not only choking out the last of the timber industry, but also limiting our ability to build out our renewable energy resources.
And to some lighter fare when we return. Lisa Gambardella has more good food on our Fairbanks Flavor segment. Also, it is time for our weekly edition of That's Interiortainment. Those stories are next. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. The body of former Alaska Territorial Governor Mike Stepovich has been returned to Fairbanks ahead of next week's services. Family members, Alaska State Troopers, Airport Police, and a representative of the Army were on hand to greet the flag-draped coffin as it arrived late Wednesday afternoon. The 94-year-old former governor died last Friday at a San Diego hospital. He was appointed by President Eisenhower as governor in 1957, a position he held for a year before resigning. A mass of Christian burial will be held February 28th at Sacred Heart Cathedral here in Fairbanks. Well, the University of Alaska Fairbanks Film Department is working on casting a film written by one of their students. The department heads say they are proud of the work she has done, and it has been recognized as far as Russia. News Center 11's Stephanie Woodard has more now in this week's That's Interiortainment.
And I looked at her and, I don't know how to talk, Raven. She said, sure you do.
Catalina Torres is a student and film writer at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. She says she doesn't really consider herself a typical film writer.
I actually wasn't a writer really in the truest sense. I was a storyteller. So I told stories through the 2000s because I had my children right about 1997 or so, and then bedtime was always an hour long because, you know, there's that story you got to get in.
To her, one thing is really important, and that is her roots, which are right here all over Alaska.
Even though my grandmother didn't teach our language and most of our customs to my parents and my aunts and uncles, all that kind of stuff, we still got the trickle down, and now there's a resurgence of people trying to go back and regain, and I'm part of one of the regainers.
Torres has written a story that will now be casting Alaska natives titled The Trail Home. To her, it will never be fully completed, and she has been working on it for years. But she is pairing with the UAF Film Department to begin casting and filming. The story follows a young Alaskan woman.
As a myriad of children that she's received from her relatives that, you know, they're unable to take care of their own children, so, and the epic way is you give them to somebody who's within the family. And so that's what she's doing. But in the meantime, you know, life threw her a couple of curveballs, and they were pretty big balls.
Torres, a mother of 4, has truly had success already. One of her pieces has even gone to the Sundance Film Festival. I'm Stephanie Woodard, and that's Interiortainment. Brought to you by the Finish Line Restaurant and Lounge.
From film to food, Lisa Gambardella is here now with this week's edition of Fairbanks Flavor.
Buonasera. Welcome to Fairbanks Flavor. I'm Lisa Gambardella, and this is my kitchen here at Gambardella's Pasta Bella downtown. Tonight we're making a spicy dish. It's exclusive at Gambardella's. It's Cajun seafood pasta. We're going to start with some oil in a hot pan and some garlic. We're going to let that toast a little bit. Add in our shrimp and some scallops. Ooh, look at that toast. Okay, and while those are cooking, I'm going to open a delicious sweet wine because the sweet wine goes really well with a spicy dish. This is a great way to warm up a cold winter night with a spicy hot pasta dish. And if you don't want to make it at home, I'll make it for you here at Gambardella's. I always cook with wine, and sometimes I put it in the food. I have some pre-cooked spicy sausage. That looks delicious. Get that seafood to cook. And it cooks fast. That's what I love about sauté. You can have a really delicious dish in no time at all. I have a little white wine. I also have some vodka that I've infused with hot red pepper flakes. That's part of our spiciness for this. Then I'm going to add some cream. And The real secret is some smoked chipotle peppers. And I'm going to turn up the heat. When you add your liquid to your pan, it'll generally bring the temperature down. You want to bring it back up and spice it up. A little bit more of this. I'm feeling a little extra spicy. It's a little cold outside. And I'm going to add some pasta to the dish. Woo, that looks delicious. Enjoy it today, Cajun seafood pasta. Make it at home, or I'll make it for you. See our recipes at webcenter11.com and join us at Fairbanks Flavor.
Brought to you by Gambardello's Pasta Bella.
I'm going to have to take her up on that. Although I don't like seafood, I do like chicken, spicy chicken. So let's see if she can make that for me. That'd be great. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about Joe. He's next in sports, and he talks with the Nanook rifle team about their big match this weekend at home. Plus, the Ice Dogs are back in the Dipper this weekend. Joe has more on their matchup and a lot more after the break.
Welcome back, Interior. Time for some Thursday sports. The Ice Dogs invite intrastate rival Kenai River to the Big Dipper this weekend for Military Appreciation Week. The Dogs will don some nice military camo jerseys. The Brown Bears at 23, 18, and 6 are next to last in the Midwest and will play desperate as they are 10 points out of second place and just 6 out of third. Meanwhile, the Ice Dogs are the top NAHL team with a 37-13 record and now are on a 6-game winning streak. 6 players and Coach Stewart came back late this week after participating in the NAHL Top Prospects Tournament. One of those players, Kyle Lee, is coming off a Midwest Star of the Week performance with a 5-point weekend in the Bruins sweep. Jake Bushy was traded to Fairbanks from the Brown Bears this month, and he's anxious to go up against his former team.
I'm real excited. It'll be fun to see some of the guys that I've played with for over a year and a half, but at the same time, it'll be fun to play against them and real exciting to have a first series up here.
We hold Kenai's future for playoffs. I mean, if we win these 2 points, that's huge for us, and I mean, we can knock them out of playoffs if we sweep them.
First of all, we haven't clinched a playoff spot yet, so we have to look to that, and you know, it's just important. We talked about at the beginning of the year, we're talking about the same thing now. We just have to get better every single day.
And the #2 rifle team in the nation, the Alaska Nanooks, continue their quest for an 11th national title this weekend after winning the first ever Patriot Rifle Conference Championship on February 9th. They host #17 Nevada and #20 UTEP for the NCAA qualifier match at the E.F. Horton Rifle Range. The Nooks will be in the range this Saturday from 8 to 5, full day of shooting. There will be 2 relays for the air rifle and small bore disciplines. As a team, Alaska could get a high seed at NCAA's. This weekend's score will go towards their 3-score average that has them ranked #2. 4 shooters are top 10 nationally, with Tim Cherry and Ryan Anderson tied for 2nd in small bore and 3rd in air rifle. Laura Lee Stanfield is tied at 6th in small bore, and Mats Eriksson tied for 8th. I talked to head coach Dan Jordan and Eriksson about this weekend's match today.
A big thing is just getting everybody to click on the same day, and so the more consistent people are, the better off you are, because you know, if you get people that are hot and cold, it helps, yeah, but if one's hot and the other one's cold, they kind of offset themselves. So that's the big thing through the year, is learning to perform on the day that you have to.
It's an important match, but it's just another match. We have been doing well. A couple of people have been doing really well. So I think the team is definitely really, really excited to shoot this weekend. It'll be fun to see how we all do.
Tuesday featured MAC basketball. Well, last night the Aurora Conference was on display. The Hutchinson Hawks were hosting the Monroe Rams. Ladies first, the Hawks were up 24-15 at halftime. Monroe came out strong in the second half. Savannah Mapp, she got the Rams going. She got them within 5. She had 5 points. Sarah Hadukovic, though, she scored a game-high 21 points to bring the Rams back twice, making it a 3-point and a 5-point game in the third quarter. But Hutchinson's Katie Hoppa, she connected from downtown. Hannah Edwards scored 3 of her 13 from long distance. And Taya Titus, she hit a 3 to answer every Rams push. Katie Peterson, she went inside to get 3 the hard way as well. The junior had 13 points as the Hawks win 60-40. The Hawks have dealt with a number of injuries, and Peterson was recently called up from JV. She talks about playing with the big girls.
It took a while, but I think it's been kind of good. I've got to play JV a little bit, but it was nice to just get thrown in and just kind of deal with it as it came to me. I think that our team deals good with stress. We're good in tight situations, and we know how to execute our plays when we need to.
In the boys game, the Hutchinson Hawks took on arguably the best team in the state regardless of level. The Hawks had some early success going inside to Morgan John. He had 9 points. Emil Pacheco led the Hawks with 10. The Hawks were down 6-12 with 5:10 in the first. Then Monroe put on the clamps as the Hawks didn't score again until 4:50 in the second quarter. 8 minutes in game time without a score. Jalen McCullough and Scooter Bynum scored 16. Christian Nicholson had 11. And Tyler Wells, he scored 10 points. Monroe led 51-13 at the half. And the Rams train keeps on rolling as Monroe wins 89-36 over Hutch. That's 38 straight wins for Monroe. The top racers in this year's Iron Dog headed out from Nome this morning as they make the trek to Fairbanks. In today's leaderboard, Mike Morgan and Chris Olds are still in the lead. They're laying over in Caltech South. Minnick and Olstad and Dick and Quam are also in Caltech. Davis and Simons are fourth in Unalakleet. McKenna and Von Meter round out the top 5, and they're also in Unalakleet South for their layover. And that's all I got for sports tonight, but your full weather forecast is next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back in. Talking again about cold temperatures for one more night, it looks like. Tomorrow night, a little chilly, but not as bad as it has been. And then after that, we're looking at definitely a warming trend. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. Again, a great photograph. This one we're going to call Sky on Fire for obvious reasons. Chris Foster was able to capture this sunset here, and the colors are magnificent. Again, lots of reds and oranges. Again, thank you, Chris, for that photograph. If you have a photograph, by all means, send it to photos@ktbf11.com. Numbers look like this. The normal high, 13 above. Today's high, 7 below. Normal low, 12 below. Today's overnight low, 26 below. Record high, 41, 2008, 51 below in 1932. Sunrise and sunset, 9 hours and 15 minutes, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. We have an air quality alert once again for folks in Fairbanks. It's moderate, but in North Pole, unhealthy for sensitive groups. So kids, adults, and folks with heart problems, you might want to think about staying indoors. Our satellite and radar, once again, showing not a whole lot going on across the state. Most of the energy way down to the south, over the southwest, and we're looking at warmer air coming up from the south, giving us warmer temperatures over the next week or so. And over across the rest of the state today, cloudy skies over southeast Alaska, just partly cloudy across the Gulf of Alaska. Lots of sunshine up and down the west and the southwest part of the state. A little chilly around Barrow, 23 degrees below zero. Lower 48 weather, here's what it looks like. Cloudy skies over the west coast. And then lots of sunshine around Dallas. Things are getting kind of stormy around the Minneapolis area. Why? Well, we'll show you on the satellite and radar. Big storm system here cranking up, bringing with it not only snow to Minneapolis, but along this frontal boundary, severe weather, possible tornadoes too. And it's moving rapidly, so at least it'll move through the areas pretty quickly, but we've got to keep an eye on that. As far as the jet stream, once again, later on this weekend, it'll be coming right around from the west to the east, helping to transport more moisture off the Pacific Ocean across the northern half of the country. With the cold air in place, we'll have all the chance of more snow shower activity down to the south, warm and dry, and continuing drought over California. Back to Alaska for tomorrow in the northern sections, cloudy and cold in Barrow, sunshine at Nome, scattered clouds for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at, for the most part, plenty of sunshine at Fairbanks, Delta Junction, and Healy. While over southeast Alaska, it looks like, for the most part, cloudy skies in Juneau, a few clouds expected for Ketchikan. Over the southwest part of the state, winds expected at Cold Bay, rainy in Bethel, and rain and snow for Kodiak Island. While over the south central regions, it looks like sunshine expected in Anchorage, just scattered clouds at Homer, and mostly sunny skies for Valdez. Once again, time for our weather fact for this week. And in 1989, Jackson, Mississippi was hit with severe thunderstorms with 100-mile-per-hour winds registered there. You can imagine the damage that was created by that. Again, thanks Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our Kids Weather Watch. And next week, we'll be back with the kids from Denali Elementary School. Thursday night, time for our road conditions real quickly. If you're leaving in and out of the Fairbanks area, blowing and drifting snow on the Elliott Highway, icy patches all over the Richardson and Parks highways. Keep that in mind. Just drive carefully. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 28 below zero, another cold night. Warmer in the higher elevations, a little bit of inversion going on. Tomorrow's forecast calling for 2 degrees above. Lots of sunshine, and the extended forecast, again, very encouraging, 10 degrees for the high on Saturday, and for the Tired Iron on the river, it'll be looking at Sunday 20 degrees, and then moving up to 24, 25, and 26 for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and just partly cloudy skies. So a good forecast coming up. Daryl?
Well, thanks, Mike. That sounds pretty good. One more day of cold weather and then hopefully warmer weather for the weekend. I've got a lot of plans for this weekend, so hopefully it'll come true. Thanks for that. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are always glad you could join us. Tonight on NBC Nightly News, a global emergency as the death toll surges in Ukraine. What, if anything, can the world do to stop it? That is next with Brian Williams. And remember, when you see news or have a story idea you want to share, call us at 458-1830. From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.